Nerds.
Hey.
That was too quiet, guys. Come on.
Nerds.
I can't be the loud one here.
Richard, the loud one, never.
Yeah, that'd be unusual. I'm almost always the quietest.
I'm a little offended.
Well, there's a reason why I'm attracted to people that are louder than me, usually. Most of my friends are louder than I am.
Are you trying to compensate?
No, I think it's more you're attracted to, not necessarily your polar opposite, but someone who's different than you. You know, it's.
Will, he's
like,
attracted to us. Isn't that so sweet?
I'm sorry, Richard. I'm married.
Okay.
Me too, babe.
Darn. There goes that dream.
I pushed it too far. All right. What are we talking about today?
That's us, nerdy.
That's
nostalgic.
okay, because we're talking about
Mildly inappropriate things.
very
inappropriate
mildly
things in this case.
Inappropriate things.
Okay.
Well, I was going to say, that used to be our tagline.
Mildly inappropriate
Nerdy,
things.
nostalgic, mildly inappropriate. And now it's just like, hold on to your hats. Or hold on to your nerd hats. Or something like that.
Yeah.
I think both fit. Anyway, yes, what we were talking about today is I think, very inappropriate, I think is a fair statement.
We're talking about Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Dog pool.
Someone has probably made Mary Poppins. It would not surprise me. Yeah, it's like a Disney knockoff or something. No, we're not talking about that, though. We are talking about...
We will talk about it at one point.
We will talk about... Okay. We will talk about dogs at some point. But the main topic is...
Laura's confusion.
Drum roll.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
That's right.
Yes.
I need to do sound effects.
No, you don't. No, don't do that, because then it becomes weird.
Yay!
No.
Clap, clap, clap.
It's a little corny. Let's not do that. No.
Oh, well, that's us, a little corny.
Yeah.
Or at least that's Will and me.
So, I haven't seen any of the Deadpools. I've just heard of them. I was seriously considering seeing this one, like the Deadpool and Wolverine at first, but no.
Yes, although that was, in fairness, that was primarily because it was my birthday celebration.
Oh, yeah. Oh, mostly because. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I like the second one. I recommend it. But this one was good.
Yeah. That's about all I could say about this one, too. It's good.
Okay.
It was good.
Good. So I didn't miss much.
Not great, but it was good.
Okay. Let's go ahead and give our ratings. Kidding.
We're done.
We're done. It was good. It was not great, but it was good.
Should we tell her what this is about, more or less? You said you started to read a little bit of the plot.
I read the plot. So it's like this guy who's disfigured by another bad guy, and he's upset, and he's gonna seek revenge on who messed up his face. That's the first one?
Yes, pretty much.
The second one, I don't remember. Does he team up with someone?
He develops a team and goes back in time. To bring people that died in the first movie back to life.
Oh, okay.
Sort of. I mean, I don't know. That wasn't the only reason they went back in time, but that was...
Okay.
Cable comes back in time to kill a child, and the child grows up to end the world.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And Deadpool is like, what is wrong with you?
Why would you do this? Why?
For people not in the know, Cable is the son of two other X-Men from the future.
Which we referenced in X-Men 97 review.
Oh, Gene and Scott. Gene and Scott.
Well, technically, Gene's clone is Scott.
That's right.
Ew, dirty. That's right. I remember this.
She didn't know it at the time, and neither did he.
Oh, well, it makes it okay then.
She didn't know she was a clone, and he didn't know she was a clone.
It's okay.
She hadn't gotten turned on yet by the Cylons. I'm getting mixed up.
You did not say that right at all.
Speaking of which, we need to cover that at some point. Battlestar Galactica.
Maybe not this episode, but we're going to cover something else MCU related at some point. I'm going to bring it up.
What?
Okay, this is an ominous, slightly nebulous promise from Will to kick us off here.
Sounds dirty. Let's continue.
Yeah, we are all doomed.
Oh! I get it. Only because I'm on Instagram. A lot.
Yes. Oh, wait, we can talk about that later. The news. You've heard the news?
Yeah, I just thought
It's-
we could
it's
talk about
everywhere.
that after our
It's
Deadpool
everywhere.
review.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm like, what?
Let's go ahead and
Talk about the movie?
Yeah, Deadpool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Deadpool 1 and 2. Will and I both enjoyed those movies. We both agree that 2 is the best of the series up to this point, and now we've seen the third, and
Okay.
we still
I
feel
think
that way.
We reviewed the past Deadpool movies, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We did kind of a general everything Deadpool episode one time where we talked about both movies and the comics a little bit.
Can't believe I missed that.
So we haven't done a full review on any one of the movies.
Oh,
This will
okay.
be our first. But yeah, we did one time cover kind of just Deadpool the topic. So yeah, go back and that was in our first season, like way
Yes.
back in 2022. So go look that up if you want and listen. So this movie.
What was it about, guys?
Well, according to other people, the plot doesn't make sense. But let's try to see what we think the plot. How do we feel about the plot? The plot is basically, for reasons that are never explained, the TVA wants to rescue Deadpool from a dying universe. I don't know why, because it's never explained. I wish it was. That's a plot hole. And
Oh no, he does explain it.
what?
Okay, so this movie does tie in pretty heavily with Loki, seasons 1 and 2, and
Ooh.
the Time Variance Authority.
Oh, I
They're-
like that
they're,
series.
They're heavily involved in this movie.
All right.
So it just made sense. That made sense to me. Like, if you're going to find a way to bring Deadpool into the MCU, or at least to connect him somehow to the MCU,
Can you?
that would make sense.
Can I just hold on? What is MCU?
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
So
So, like, everything from the very first Iron Man all the way up to the most recent Marvel film.
where is Deadpool?
He's in the Fox X-Men universe.
Yeah, like,
Oh, so this is different from DC.
oh yeah, DC's a whole nother animal. Like,
Although Henry Cavill did appear in this film.
yeah, that was a great
Okay.
cameo.
As what?
Wolverine, a Wolverine variant.
Oh gosh.
The Cavalrine.
Have you
As
seen
Deadpool.
Loki season 1?
Have I?
I think so. Didn't you watch
Oh
it with me?
yeah, with the time
Very
Cartoon-
Time Variance Authority.
cartoon
yeah.
time
The clock-
person.
The clock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so you won't be completely
Wow.
confused.
wow.
He who must not be named. No.
He who got fired.
He who remains.
Oh, Mobius
No. Mobius is the.
in Loki.
That's where Sonic
Wow,
lives.
Wow, that's Owen Wilson's
I
character.
know.
Mobius.
I know. I said that.
But he who remains is the guy that they meet.
I
at
know
the
what I'm
very end.
talking about.
He doesn't remain anymore.
Oh well, the actor got fired.
Oh, because of dirty stuff.
No, he was accused of domestic violence.
I know dirty stuff.
Yeah, it hasn't been proven yet, but he's been accused, and there's
Also,
like,
he puts cheese on his tacos.
Yuck.
You know, what a dirty, dirty person.
shredded cheese.
What I read about this Deadpool is that Wolverine's just kind of there, and he's like, "Hey, we have a common enemy. Let's go get him together, even though we don't get along." That's what I read.
Actually, it's more like Deadpool gives a hopeful,
What is it? Educated wish.
an educated wish.
He kind of lies to Wolverine to get him to help him. All right, so let's rewind a little bit to explain why Deadpool felt the need to do that. So Deadpool. So the movie opens with a fight between Deadpool and the soldiers from the Time Variance Authority, and it's quite graphic, and it's set to the music of "Bye Bye Bye" from NSYNC. And
Oh, that sounds
Deadpool.
fun. Is it in slow motion?
Deadpool.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, it's got slow motion part. Well,
I
it goes-
love some slow motion.
The fighting
and some,
is
and some old tunes.
like the kills are in slow motion, but then the normal dancing is in regular speed.
So
But
Who's
he's
dancing?
using-
Sorry, all right. Who's dancing?
Deadpool.
Oh,
Yeah,
After he digs up
desecrates the
Wolverine's
grave of Wolverine.
adamantium metal skeleton, and then he
why
literally
is
uses
it buried? Why is it buried?
because he died.
Oh,
when
yeah,
does he die?
You haven't seen the movie Logan yet.
No,
which is,
I haven't.
We need to watch that together. It's so good. It's so good.
So he really dies.
He like legit dies in Logan
But this
Except
is in the
not because
future.
he's
in the future.
In
Okay.
Deadpool's timeline, he's still alive,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
confusing.
Yeah, that did confuse me a little bit because which Wolverine? How did Deadpool? This might be a plot hole. How did Deadpool know that Wolverine had died? Because they didn't.
TVA showed it to him.
Did they show it to him? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but did they tell him what year it happened? Because how do you know
No.
how to get there? That's what I want to know.
Exactly.
That's a plot hole, I think.
There's a lot of plot holes in this film.
There are a lot of plot holes. Yeah, that's one of its faults.
And I want to talk about those plot holes, but I want to talk to them in sequential order.
Yeah.
So Deadpool digs up Wolverine Logan's metal skeleton and then uses that to beat and desecrate
Adamantium.
adamantium.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know if it's considered a metal or not, but
Unobtainium.
maybe. Yeah. unobtainium.
Exactly. Unobtainium.
Avatar.
Vibranium, unobtainium, adamantium.
Okay, so he uses that to hurt people.
And he literally uses the bones to bone people to death in their crotches.
Wait. Ew! I don't like that visual.
Oh yeah.
Ew.
Gratuitous violence.
I'm
right out
not
of
trying
the
to
gate.
convince you to watch this film.
Ah.
I'm thinking I'm going to gross you out the entire
I'm not trying to
podcast.
convince myself to watch it again.
Oh my goodness.
There is so much. This is like the definition of gratuitous violence. I have to say. Like
I
oh
felt
my-
guilty watching it.
Really?
But not as much as Deadpool 1, but that was because...
Yeah,
Would Deadpool 1 more?
Deadpool 1 is very violent, but this tops Deadpool 1.
Yes, it
No.
does. I'm not talking about the violence. You'll have... You guys in podcast land will have to read our Deadpool review if you want to know why I felt guilty watching Deadpool 1. But it has to do with Vanessa. Anyway.
There is a sex scene in the first Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
There's not a
Long
sex scene
sets
in
of
this
music,
movie.
a montage.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
This is fun.
this one has more violence but less sex.
Okay.
No sex.
It had a tiny flashback, but that was about it.
I mean, unless you count Deadpool and Wolverine's car time.
Oh no.
Angry.
So Deadpool and Wolverine have two massive knockout drag-out fights in this, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I thought you
a
were going to
little
say something else.
bit. Oh no.
I apologize to
Oh,
everybody.
there's definitely jokes about that because it's Deadpool. Deadpool does inappropriate jokes all the time, so he definitely jokes about that at some point, probably. I think.
I'm a mixed bag. I'm trying to go back to our Reverend Nerd days.
Oh yeah. Well, we can still be irreverent. We're still the same people.
Yeah.
So we're jumping around too much. ADHD.
So
ADHD.
why are Wolverine and Deadpool getting together?
Okay, so let's rewind back to. So you have the opening scene. So that's kind of. Deadpool breaks in at the end of it and then starts to narrate and says, "Okay, let me explain how I got to this point." So you go back in time a little bit, and you see that he is, attacked and abducted by the TVA. Like they come to arrest him, basically, and they abduct him.
Because
And-
he time traveled in Deadpool 2.
Yes, yeah, he time traveled.
Oh.
Well, that's what he thinks. He thinks that's the reason at first. It's like in Deadpool 2, he had time travel, and he obviously changed some things on the timeline. And then at the beginning of this movie, he's trying to give up being Deadpool, so he can be kind of a normal person. Like, and it's not going so great. Like he doesn't have his girl anymore, even though he brought her back from the dead. Like they're not together.
Are you saying gorilla or girl?
Girl or
Oh.
his girlfriend, girlfriend,
His girl woman.
girl woman. Which that didn't really make a lot of sense to me. That seemed kind of dumb, that plot line. But the way they explained why they weren't together anymore was kind of like, okay, whatever.
Because she wanted him to be something more than a merc with a mouth.
Yeah, wanted to do something meaningful, which I thought he did in the last movie. So I'm like, hey, what more do you expect from the man? But but for some reason, she's not willing to get back together with him yet, even though she's come back from the dead. And he
I
brought
mean,
her
it
back from
only
the dead.
makes sense that he's Deadpool, and in the running gag in the comics, it's that nobody likes Deadpool. Not even Deadpool's friends like Deadpool. Because
Yeah.
Deadpool is an a-hole.
He is.
He's
He
a
is.
lovable a-hole, but he is. Did you know that Deadpool shot Peter Parker in the head and killed him, but then brought him back from the dead somehow?
No. I don't know anything about this. I know nothing.
Sorry.
This is in the comics.
This is in the comics.
I did not know this.
Yeah, Spider-Man wasn't the same for a while.
I got shot in the head. It's like, what happened to you? Oh, wow.
So, I'm still confused. Why are
Sorry.
they together?
Okay, so
Shorten it up.
yeah. So he gets arrested. He thinks he's getting arrested for what he did in the previous movie. TVA grabs him, takes him to TVA headquarters, and the regional, I guess, TVA director or whatever starts explaining to Deadpool why he's there. And we basically find out that this guy, like, he's offering Deadpool a deal. It's like, hey, because of the death of Logan, which happens in the future, it's like Logan is, what do you call him, an anchor being in your universe. So when an anchor being dies, then the time, this is the way he explains it to Deadpool, the timeline starts to fall apart.
Yeah.
In that universe. So he's like, and I think he says, like, they're going to prune his universe so that it doesn't get out of control, something to that effect.
Look, he just couldn't wait 2,000 years for it to naturally
Yeah,
die.
he's like, it was gonna naturally die out, but he's like, I don't have time for that, so it's gonna die in 72 hours.
What?
But he wants to use Deadpool, so he gives Deadpool an option, like, hey, you can come work for me and help me do what I want to do. Come help the TVA. Or you can go back with your friends and die with them in 3 days. And Deadpool chooses option 1, but he kind of does his own thing with it. You know, he chooses, okay, he says, all right, he initially agrees to help them, but then he steals the little time pad from them because he realizes that in the course of, well, actually no, that's later. He steals the time pad and proceeds to go universe to universe to universe looking for a Wolverine that could help him.
Why could Wolverine help him?
Well, he brings the Wolverine back. And he's like, "Hey, you wanted a Wolverine, right? You know, he died in this. Well, here's a Wolverine, like." And the
TVA one.
The TVA guy, yeah, is like, it's like, that's not how it works. You can't steal a Wolverine from another timeline and put him. Which the guy playing this is Mr. Darcy from the Keira Knightley movie, by the way.
You mean Matthew McFadden?
Matthew McFadden.
I know
yes.
his name. I know things.
Yeah, he's the villain.
So I know we don't have time for everything, but I just want to point out it was really awesome to see all those various Wolverine variants we had. I had to do some research, but the Wolverine on the big X cross with the mountain of skulls, that's from a comic book cover.
No, I figured that
storyline.
I think I've even seen it at some point somewhere, but I didn't know much about it.
But that was hilarious. Deadpool visits him like twice, considering it. But we have comic accurate short Wolverine. We've got Calverine.
The Cavalry.
Cavill. I don't know who coined that originally, but it's going around the internet now. Cavalry.
Cavalry. Like Henry Cavill, the Cavalry. Probably Ryan Reynolds, but yeah. That was hilarious. Fourth wall breaking and it's awesome.
In the Wolverine that he eventually gets, we have Apocalypse Wolverine. We've got Patch from Madripoor. It's just a really good time seeing all these different Wolverines.
Yeah.
The Wolverine that Deadpool eventually gets is Drunk Wolverine. Do you want to talk about that character of why he's drunk, or do you want to?
Well, we get the sense. Well, according to the TVA tells Deadpool that Wolverine basically fucked up his universe. Like he did something really bad, and he's like ashamed. He's like ashamed, and so that's what Deadpool is told about that Wolverine. Like when he brings him back, the TVA director is like, "You've brought me the worst Wolverine."
That reminds me, Richard.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for dropping an F-bomb.
Oh, well, we got to earn our explicit rating, right?
This film drops the F-bomb 116 times.
Wow.
It's about 2 hours long. That's about one F-bomb per minute. I did the math on this.
About right.
Wow.
Yeah, and I thought that was like that's Good Will Hunting territory. Like Good Will Hunting has around 120, I think.
And that's what I took away from this film. That's as soon as the end credits rolled, I just looked to Richard and your brother, Laura, and I was like, that was a lot of F-bombs.
Yeah, and
that was my main takeaway. That's what I got out of this movie.
yeah, and Laura's brother Daniel looked it up, and he's like 116, but then he also looked up what has the all-time, because we were curious at this point, like what movie has the all-time record, and it's The Wolf of Wall Street has like 500 plus.
Oh
F-bombs.
my
I'm
gosh!
500?
It's like a 3-hour movie, and apparently the director's cut, which is even longer, has like 600 something F-bombs. I'm like, why?
I mean, it's just losing
how
all
do
of
you
its
fit
other
that in
meanings.
It's like, why? Like, is it every third word? You're like, F, F, F.
For unlawful carnal knowledge.
Oh, unnecessary. Inappropriate and churlish.
Churlish.
So he's with Wolverine,
Yes.
the drunk Wolverine,
Drunk
and apparently
Wolverine, yes.
that's the worst one out of all of them.
According to, well...
Okay, what he was
he
told.
sees him as, like, washed up and worthless, basically,
Okay.
the TVA director.
Okay, so then what happens? What happens after that?
So, I think they... See, TVA is going... I think they're like, going to arrest him again or something, right? And then they escape together.
No.
I forget how.
This regional director somehow manages to successfully prune them from the timeline, sending them to the void.
That's right. They both get pruned. Like, if you remember it. So then they both... That's right. They both go to the void. Although it's a different...
I've been there.
It's like a different corner of the void. This is like desert corner of the void.
Not the Green Valley
This is
one.
Mad Max void.
Yeah, Mad Max.
Ew.
Mad Max corner of the void.
That's not real, right?
Well, no, they actually parodied Mad Max.
No.
Which is... I thought it was great.
Great.
I thought it was hilarious.
Oh
Great.
my goodness.
We even get to see the hovering Fantastic Car, the Guardians of the Galaxy spaceship, Asgard. There's all sorts of tons of
So much.
references in this cameos in this film.
So much.
Oh yeah, a bunch of cameos, a lot of fan service. This was like a fan service movie, basically.
Yeah,
Like,
basically.
The whole thing is like a fan service movie.
I want to stop and just say something that I like this movie, but that was lazy writing. We've already seen The Void. We've already seen Elioth. And it was somewhat disappointing to return to these elements after I saw Loki season 1. And they were good in Loki season 1, but now I'm just like, I've seen that.
Yeah, and timeline wise, it didn't really make sense that it fit, because like I think in season, I need to go back and watch season 2. But do you mind if I spoil season 2, or do you want me to non-spoil?
Spoil it.
At the end of it, Loki, kind of as an act of sacrifice, basically takes the role of he who remains and is now holding everything in place and making sure the timelines don't mess up. So I'm like, where is he in all of this? They didn't bother to tie anything to Loki. They do have one of the characters from the Loki film who's now the director of the TV, like the head of the whole TVA. She was a big part of the Loki series. But yeah, there's no mention of Loki at all, even though the TVA gets a lot of time in this one. So I thought that maybe that was a missed opportunity, but
Although there is mention of Thor crying over Deadpool's body.
oh yeah, you see a flash forward. Well, not a flash forward, because the TVA can watch what happens in a whole bunch of different timelines. So you see a little clip of Deadpool dying in Thor's arms, and Thor is crying, and Deadpool gets really excited about that. He's like, Thor holds me. It's like,
And then throughout the film, Deadpool will have dreams. He's like, Thor. Dreaming about Thor holding him. But
So sweet.
yeah, it's one of the, I guess, a subplot and kind of like some character motivation for Deadpool, and this was that it's revealed that at one point he applied to be a part of the Avengers. Like, he went to Avengers Tower and
Oh my goodness.
talked to Happy,
another plot hole.
and asked him if he could be part of the Avengers, and Happy's just kind of like, you do you, man, like you're not quite there yet. Basically. So yeah, they kind of shoehorned that in a little bit. But that was kind of fun.
How
That was
did
kinda
he
fun.
jump universes?
Which,
I know he breaks the fourth wall, so he knew about the MCU.
well,
but
the little time pad.
no, he didn't get the time pad until after they came to arrest him. But his interview with Happy Hogan takes place before the TVA arrests him.
That's a good question.
So I know he's got Cable's time machine, which he used at the end of the last Deadpool film. But
Maybe that was his universe's Avengers.
no, it said MCU 616 universe.
Huh. So maybe that's 616 Deadpool then.
No, 616 is the MCU Sacred Timeline. It didn't used to be. It used to be like 199999 or something. But they retconned it anyway. So they actually give a number to Deadpool's universe, and it's not 616 in this film. I know it's confusing, Laura.
They threw these little.
Am so lost. That being said, my turn. That being
Yes.
said, just hearing you guys giggle and talk about this and be like, oh yeah, and what if that makes me want to go see it.
It's a fan service film. That's
Oh, yeah.
Like you guys giggling over it makes me want to go see it. Like,
Yeah.
so this is I
It
don't
was-
understand what the hell was going
And
on, but I'm appreciating your enjoyment of it.
It was fun.
It was.
Okay.
And if you read Deadpool comics, it's more fun because then you know who the Deadpool Corps is.
Okay.
And we're jumping far into the future of this film, but I really love they included the Deadpool Corps. More on that later.
Yeah. Well, we find out in the void where he's at, and the TVA guys at one point you get a glimpse of why, like, they're like, when they go to arrest Deadpool the first time, Wade, you know, they're like, we hate you Deadpools, and we find out they have pruned a bunch of Deadpools because they keep causing problems. So there's like 100 Deadpools in the void,
Oh
Yes.
wow.
and so our Deadpool, which is I guess Deadpool Prime,
Yes.
supposed to be Deadpool Prime.
And since they can all break the fourth wall, they all know he's Deadpool Prime.
Although he's not Deadpool from the Sacred Timeline, he's like Deadpool from the Fox Timeline.
There is no Deadpool in the Sacred Timeline.
Yeah, I guess not. I don't know what they're gonna do about that. Anyway, it's all like it's.
I'm sure he'll make his way into the MCU.
If you
at
try
some
too
point.
hard to make all those parts connect, you won't enjoy the film as much. But if you just kind of enjoy the fan service, which is basically an entire movie of fan service, you know, it's like it's fun in that way, you know. And we do get to meet in the void. Apparently, the person running the void, which for some reason we never heard of in Loki, plot hole. Unless this is a different void, which I don't think so, but is Charles Xavier's twin. You know, who was abducted, or they pruned her at a very young age.
Her?
Yeah, it's a woman who was Charles Xavier's twin, and
Then why is
but
she
apparently he
bald?
doesn't have a twin in every. Yeah, that's a good question. Probably doesn't have a twin in every universe, but from one of the universes, she was Charles Xavier's twin, was pruned at a young age, so she basically grew up in the void, and she has like powerful telekinetic. She has telekinetic powers, and she can read minds, but she has to physically put her hand into someone's head.
Ew.
She can like phase into
don't
someone's head and like rub her hand. That was.
Ew.
don't
That's
think-
dirty. I don't like it.
I don't
Oh, yeah.
think she has to do that. I think she enjoys doing it.
Ew. That makes it worse.
Fair point. She probably could just like, because at one point she does just touch somebody, and she does have to put her finger in a little bit, but she likes to like put it all in and like move around.
Ew, stop it. I don't like this.
And they
That's
show
gross.
it. They show
That's
it,
gross.
and it's just like
Ew.
fingers moving.
Ew. That's so creepy.
The CGI was awesome in that.
Yes.
Like that was very good CGI.
And when she takes her fingers out, at least one person, she says, "I'm glad you had my hand out of that guy's head. That was dirty."
I was just like, oh. And then later Deadpool makes a joke like, it's like, yeah, she doesn't wash that hand, or she never washes that hand.
Ew.
Something like that. But anyway, she's also so kind of the two main villains are like her. The two main antagonists are her. She runs the void and she's very cruel. And then on the Earth sort of Earth side, but TVA side. What was it? What did they? Darn it, I can't think of the character's name now.
What, the fat guy who really
No,
Deadpool's butt?
No, the guy that's the head of that region of the TVA, the one that brings Deadpool there.
Mr. Paradox.
Mr. Paradox, yes. So there's basically the two main antagonists in the film.
I don't know, Richard. That Taylor was pretty antagonistic. He was a predator.
Oh, yeah. What do you call me? I say, by the way, Taylor. Like when they bring Wade from his unit, he doesn't have his suit with him, so they give him a new suit which has adamantium swords like katanas, which is convenient because he's gonna be fighting Wolverine later.
Yeah, if he didn't have adamantium swords, Wolverine would have just snatched his swords.
Oh yeah, would have just sliced him up. But yeah, of course they make jokes like while the tailor is, they do like a montage of him suiting him up and he slaps his butt like 5 times. Like, whoosh, whoosh. And he's like, by the way, your tailor's a predator. You might want to think about firing him. And it's like, something like that.
So confused. So like, what?
I just want to prepare you that this is a Deadpool film.
It is kind of.
I don't know what that means though.
This definitely is like an ADHD film. It is hard to follow, so it's kind of like our brains.
So like,
it's rated R.
Yes.
Okay, I know that well. Not 9. I just, where are they going?
That's the question, isn't it?
So
yes, it is. I want to know.
So in exchange for Wolverine's help, Deadpool initially promises him that the TVA, he convinces him that the TVA can fix what Wolverine did in his universe.
What he undid, yeah.
So he's like, can you come help me save my universe?
Mm-hmm.
And then they can fix your universe.
Yeah.
And eventually Wolverine finds out that's not a guarantee, and
Okay.
he gets really pissed off, and they have a big fight.
Okay.
But then he ends up helping in the end. But going back to the Void, and this is where the best cameos come in. Do you want to tell her about the first one?
Well, we have all sorts of cameos.
Like the first one in the Void.
The first cameo is we think we're seeing Captain America, played by Chris Evans, right?
Chris Evans, yeah.
But then suddenly he says, "Flame on," and it's Johnny Storm from Fantastic Four.
Oh.
Which I didn't hate. I did not hate those films.
I don't hate them either. They're okay.
Yeah. And that was great. It was weird seeing Chris Evans in an MCU film cussing like a sailor. But
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
Kiss your mama with that mouth?
Deadpool gets him. Let's just say if he survived that, he wishes he were dead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Deadpool basically gets him killed by saying too much. Although I got the
By
impression...
what?
I got the... Like, he kind of rats him out to Cassandra Nova, Charles Xavier's sister.
Which must be a comic book character, by the way. I haven't done my homework yet.
Probably so. But we get the impression she wanted to kill him anyway, I think.
Yeah.
And Deadpool just kind of gave her an excuse, but Deadpool was like ratting out what, I think to try to divert attention from himself, but like all these terrible things Johnny said about Cassandra Nova while they were, like after they got captured by her minions and brought to her headquarters, which was Ant-Man's corpse.
Yeah.
Like giant Ant-Man's corpse is their headquarters.
What was the actor's name again?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. Yeah, right. So Ryan Reynolds says, Deadpool, a.k.a., says, Paul Rudd finally aged.
Wow.
Yeah, the helmet opens up and you just see the skull. And it's like, oh, Paul Rudd finally aged.
Oh, that's so funny.
So we cameo-wise, we get a bunch of X-Men villains from the original X-Men series from 30 years ago.
Frog and...
Yeah, Frog and Sabretooth.
And then what's
and
the guy?
Pyro.
Pyro.
Yeah, I didn't know who that was. I had completely
I didn't recognize
forgotten.
the actor at first, but then you figured it out.
I figured it out on the internet later, but I had no idea who that character was when we were watching the actual film. But that was exciting, but not nearly as exciting as we got some special cameos that actually
Meant something?
meant something in the
Hey.
Yeah. So Deadpool and Wolverine have their second knockdown drag out fight, and they're both basically unconscious in this Honda Odyssey minivan that they've been driving around the void. They've beaten this thing up, and there's blood everywhere. Neither one of them can die, so they're just like continually like stabbing each other in this fight, and it's bloody and it's violent, but neither one of them can die, so now they're just exhausted. And then they get abducted, we think at first, from that spot, and then they wake up in this lair, and then they begin to find out like who grabbed them. And this is where, and it's definitely, they do it in like slow motion, each one, like people walk in. So like the first cameo is Jennifer Garner, who played Elektra.
Yes.
So Elektra walks in, and Will and I were starting to get excited. It's like, oh, it's Elektra. And then, let's see, I'm trying to think who's the second one?
I didn't even see that.
I think the
film,
second
but I saw
one-
Daredevil.
Was the second one Gambit?
No, I think Gambit was last.
Was he last?
I think Blade
Was
was
Blade
the
the
next
second one? So Blade,
So
Wesley
Blade-
Snipes, who played
yeah.
Blade in the old 90s movie, which I don't think you've ever seen. But
No.
I didn't even know
We
he
got
was
really
part of the
excited.
MCU until later.
Well, he's not.
Well, Marvel Comics, I mean.
Yes, Marvel, yes. But yeah, he walks in, and everybody got excited about that in the theater, and then Gambit, played by Channing Tatum, walks in.
Oh my
which
gosh.
Will, was it you was telling me there was
Yeah.
supposed to be a Gambit film that and Channing Tatum was supposed to play him.
Yeah, he was. They were in talks for a long while, but ultimately it went to production hell and got canceled. But yeah, Channing Tatum was in love with the character and really wanted to play him, and he finally did.
Yeah, and he speaks Creole because he's from New Orleans, so he speaks Creole and has like a New Orleans accent. He actually did really good with it, I thought.
Cool.
At least, although I'm not from there, so I can't say for sure, but it sounded good to me. But yeah, that was fun, like seeing him playing Gambit. And then the last, it's not really a cameo. This is the one that makes the most sense in the
Yeah.
storyline. There's a young girl that was cloned, like in the movie Logan. He finds out that he's been cloned without his consent, and they've done quite a few clones, and most of them unsuccessful. But the 23rd clone was a girl, a female version.
Yeah.
She's basically like a female Wolverine, and part of the story of the Logan movie is he helps to rescue her, and as well as some other mutants that she's befriended.
The actress was like 8 or 9 in that movie.
11 or 12, I think.
11 or 12?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, somewhere in there. Like not like maybe right at the verge of puberty, kind of that age. And now she's like 19, 20, I think. So she comes back, and her Logan obviously died years ago, but he helped to rescue her and her friends and stuff. But they don't explain why she ended up in the void. They don't really explain why any of them ended up in the void per se. Oh wait, no, that's right. I think they were brought there on purpose by the villain guy. I keep forgetting his name.
Paradox?
Paradox. Didn't they say that they were brought in there by him?
I really don't
I'm trying to
remember.
remember why they got proved.
It's just assumed that, to me, it was just assumed that all these characters, it's kind of meta. Their franchises ended, so therefore they were pruned. Or their universes were pruned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I forget the details. Anyway, they've all ended up there in the void, and
So it's a time paradox. No pun intended. So Paradox was going to prune Deadpool's Fox universe. So we can imagine that in a timeline in which he was successful doing that, Laura, not you, Laura, X-23, whose name is Laura. There's a character named Laura in the film. Yay.
Hey,
So,
represent.
that's right.
So this is just my fan theory that she was there because in one timeline, Paradox was successful in pruning the Fox universe. Does that make sense?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Plot holes.
Yeah, no,
This movie has plot holes.
it definitely has plot holes. Like it has enough of a story, and you can follow it reasonably well as you're watching it. But yeah, it's definitely a fan service movie all the way around with like Wolverine coming back, and you get to see Hugh Jackman. Like he really has fun with it, and you see some tender moments as because he's just a good dramatic actor. Most of the humor is like he's the straight man, and Deadpool is the comedian, basically. He's the angry straight man.
Okay. How does it end?
Okay.
With a birthday party.
So Cassandra Nova sends like Deadpool and Wolverine, along with their newfound friends in the Void, decide to attack Cassandra Nova's stronghold and try to force her to send them back to Deadpool's universe so that they could then try to save it. So they're successful in forcing her to do that, more or less. But anyway, she sends them back using apparently Doctor Strange had gotten pruned, or a version of Doctor Strange. One of the Doctor Stranges had gotten pruned and gone there, and she killed him. So she had one of his portal rings.
Mm-hmm.
So she sends them through that to Deadpool's universe. But then either before or after that, the Deadpool Corps comes in, but she comes through the portal as well into that universe. And we find out, I think a little before this, but we found out that the rogue department that Paradox is running, the TVA department that he's running, like they have a time ripper, this thing called a time ripper. So I wasn't clear on what it was supposed to do. Were you clear on that?
They took away all of their pruning bombs, so he had to rely on building more antiquated technology to prune the timeline. And it just took 72 hours to build and make it operational.
Okay.
It was a MacGuffin made up for this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe MacGuffin's not the right word, but yeah.
Plot device.
It was a plot device, exactly.
Yeah, and then so Cassandra Nova gets in, then she breaks in to the TV area, and she basically gets a hold of and accesses and they don't really explain why she's trying to absorb the energy from it, but she's trying to absorb it. Maybe she just has a death wish, but what she's doing, the Paradox villain tells Deadpool and Wolverine what she's doing is basically has the potential to destroy every universe, and the only thing that will be left is the Void. So that might be what she's trying to do. She might be trying to destroy everything except where she was living before, which is the Void.
She wants everything to go to the Void so she has more to rule.
Yeah, so she has more control, more to rule. Maybe she had risen to power in the wake of He Who Remains dying, but then what's Loki doing? That didn't get explained or addressed. But anyway, she's trying to destroy all the timelines, and the Paradox guy is freaking out because he didn't intend for that to happen. He just wanted to prune one of them, more or less, or at least be able to prune the ones that he doesn't like anymore. He wants to go back to the old days of the TVA. That's for the most part. That's all he wanted to do. Oh yeah, and he wants to take over the TVA. So he wants to be head of the TVA, take it over by force, I guess, and be able to prune what he wants to prune. Whereas she's gonna prune everything, and he didn't want that to happen. So he explains to Deadpool and Wolverine how to stop it. He's like, you got to go down, below it where the wires are hooked up or whatever, and you have to create a circuit between these two different types of matter and antimatter. He's like, if you do this, you'll die, but you will stop her. So they go down there. Deadpool and Wolverine kind of have a fight about who's going to do it, who's going to die. Wolverine volunteers first, but then Deadpool tricks him, and then he gets in there, and he's trying to accomplish it himself, but he can't quite get the cords to connect. He can't reach both. So then Wolverine finally gets in and they grab hands together, and together, holding hands and holding the anti and antimatter, matter and antimatter cords, they're able to create the circuit that then destroys the Time Ripper and Cassandra Nova. And we're not sure for a little bit whether the two of them have died or not, but we find out, I guess because of their regenerative powers, not only did they survive, but they also allowed that particular universe to regenerate somehow.
Because
and, repair all the divergences or whatever on the timeline. I forget what those are called.
That worst Wolverine became the new anchor being, I guess.
Maybe.
Because of his heroic moment in the climax.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Did they say that? I don't remember.
By the way, I think anchor being is very meta in that it's not something in the universe, it's something in our universe. What I'm trying to say is an anchor being is the reason people go to the theater to watch movies. It anchors that franchise. So I think Deadpool is the only other X-Men that came out of Fox's X-Men movies. Excuse me, Deadpool's not really an X-Men. He's not a part of the team, but you get what I'm saying. Mutant.
Right, he's in the universe.
He's in the universe. He's a mutant. I think that Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool has the ability to continue his own franchise, but they considered Wolverine to be the main character of all of the X-Men films.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a few X-Men films without him, but they were mostly garbage. I liked First Class. Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix weren't so good.
Yeah, it got First Class was good. Days of Future Past I actually really enjoyed.
Really good.
I really enjoyed that one. That's probably my favorite of that series.
Of course, Hugh Jackman was the main character of that
he was in that. Yeah, and Apocalypse was so-so, and then Dark Phoenix was just boring.
Yes.
It was just like, yeah.
So that's my point. I just wanted to point out that, an anchor, yes, I talk too much.
No, it's not you.
We're going long, yeah.
No. You're not going to... Hi, everyone. This moment is brought to you by my sleep deprivation.
Yes.
I am slowly, surely, quickly drifting off while sitting up. It's not good. You're not going long. I am tired, and none of these words are making sense. Let's talk about childhood trauma for a little bit. No, I'm just kidding.
We can wrap it up. We are.
I'm pooped biscuit. I am just a big old biscuit poop. I just can't. I can't do it well. I can't. I'm not young. I'm tired.
Well, I think we've talked.
Yeah, we've basically covered it.
Yeah,
I want to look at this. Let's go to ratings because I will.
Yes.
I will see this. I think I'm a little nauseated by everything that's going on, but I really like the giddiness of what you guys share. You're just like, oh, and then this character, oh, and then this happened, and this referenced the DC comic book that I read when I was a kid, and it's so cute, and I want to go see it.
Okay.
I like it.
Bless you, Laura, for not knowing the difference between DC and MC.
Look, no, I know the difference.
Batman versus Spider-Man.
Okay,
That
whatever.
happened. I have that comic book.
Oh my goodness.
No, I guess to be more accurate, Tony Stark is the Bruce Wayne of the MCU.
I am glad we're all here together. Look at us. Look at us.
So, let's give our reviews. Our
ratings.
Our Nerd Hat ratings.
All right, so how many nerd hats would you give us?
I really enjoyed it, but this was not peak cinema. I'm going to give it 3 Nerd Hats.
Oh, wow, okay.
Why? Is that more than you were giving it?
Less. A little bit less.
A little bit less?
Yeah. Yeah, but no,
it's
in the
terrible.
It's in the ballpark.
It's a good Deadpool film.
Yeah.
I mean, I would easily go up to 3.5, but I wouldn't go any higher than that.
No, me neither, and that's kind of what I was thinking. If it hadn't been for all the I really enjoyed the fan service, and that's I think what I enjoyed the most about the film. And then the interplay between Wolverine and Deadpool, which I've been waiting for a long time because Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have had this fake feud going on for years where they make fun of each other and rag on each other, but they're actually good friends in real life. So that's been going on for years, and Ryan finally talked Hugh into doing a movie with him as Wolverine. So that was fun.
I just wish it had been under different circumstances because even Ryan Reynolds says in the Deadpool character says in this film, the multiverse is overdone. Can we stop it? I just want an X-Men movie where Deadpool meets all the adult characters from the original films and gets on their nerves. That's all I really wanted.
Well, see, but I think this kind of set the stage for that, so that could happen now.
Yeah, you're right. That could happen.
He could show up in one of the X-Men movies, or like they could bring him in. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Will gives it 3. I'm gonna say 3.5, just because I really did enjoy the fan service. But yeah, it's definitely not. It's not top tier. Definitely had some plot holes. The violence was gratuitous. It was just too much, and it wasn't that funny.
You do not like gratuitous violence.
They overdid it. They just overdid it. Like I don't mind some hardcore violence, but it needs to serve the plot, and I just don't like over the top, and it was a little too much.
It was meant for the humor, I think.
It was, yeah. They were going for that, which works for some people. It didn't work for me. I think Deadpool 2 had just the right amount of that worked. And this had too much. So that and the plot holes, I wouldn't give it. If it had a really good plot and less gratuitous violence, I probably would have given it a 4. But I'm doing 3.5. So yeah, I like it. I definitely enjoyed it more than the last Aquaman. I'm kind of
okay.
comparing it to that.
No, that's not even a real movie. Let's continue.
They tried for humor in that, and most of it fell flat. This one, a lot of the humor landed, and the cameos definitely landed. So
it made more sense to have humor in this one anyway.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was kind of forced in the Aquaman. They should have gotten John Mulaney to write the jokes or something. Oh, all right. So we both enjoyed it. Not the greatest Deadpool film or the greatest MCU film, but we enjoyed it. It was fun. And yeah, if you like Deadpool, then we recommend going to see it at least once. Yeah.
Despite not being the greatest MCU film, it's making a lot of money. It's making a ton load of money.
They marketed the heck out of this.
And they're saying that it might be the return of the MCU.
I don't know about that.
Although this is technically a Fox movie, in my opinion, but whatever.
Yeah, borderline. Anyway, all right. Well, let's wrap this up. Nerds, thanks for joining us. As always, until next time.
Robert Downey Jr. is doomed.
Oh, that's right.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, he's gonna play Doctor Doom in a.
I just wanted to ask how we feel about this.
But he's Iron Man.
Yeah, I'm like, why?
But he's dead.
Yeah,
well,
obviously he's a variant,
but he's not a superhero.
Or he's from another universe, and he comes in somehow from the multiverse. But why? Why Robert Downey? Like, he's great, but why?
Money.
Well, I mean, he's definitely a box office draw. But anyway, yeah.
Okay.
I could do without that. I love Robert Downey, but no, they should have cast it.
I just want my Latvian ruler. I just want a regular Doctor Doom.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see what he does with it, but no, you didn't need to cast him as that.
No,
that makes sense.
That doesn't make any sense.
Other than money sense.
So Avengers Doomsday replaced Avengers Kang Dynasty, which is not happening anymore.
Yeah.
I just wish they just replaced that actor and done it anyway, because we've been building up to the Kang Dynasty. The Quantumania, the end credit scene of Quantumania had a buttload of Kangs.
Maybe that's part of why, because they went so far over the top with that actor. They had like hundreds of Kangs as that actor.
Yeah.
And now he's gone. It's like, we can't replace him. But anyway.
Sure they can.
We're going too long. So
yeah, okay.
Let's wrap this up. We could talk Will and I are getting wound up, and Laura's getting tired of her. So,
I'm great.
so
I'm
until
the
next
best.
time, nerds, live long and prosper.
Sayonara.
Good night.